to episode 38 of Technolotics. Today we'll be discussing various topics including George Bush, 2012 and the impending doom of the apocalypse.
Caused by George Bush.
My name is Jonah King, this is Daniel, this is Gar, and we're going to introduce us all over again.
You may know me from such Technolotics as 37, 36, 35,
and so on in that order,
etc. Okay, go for Jonah.
Okay, our beloved Fourth Reich, the armies of darkness, George Bush and the FBI have set up a new thing called the National Security Service. This is basically an empowerment of the FBI to seize the property of those suspected of spreading weapons of mass destruction. This basically means they're setting up a large-scale surveillance compound within the FBI. And I don't really know anything else about it. Can we talk about it more, please?
Yes, let's do that. This is terrifying stuff.
Well, there's a schism. They're not just like inventing this little kind of new bureau, little new office, and move a few new cameras in. There's a schism within the FBI, between the FBI and the National Security Service. So we're going to have the FBI on one hand, which investigates crimes, which is what the thing was supposed to do, and then George Bush is taking away half those resources, and setting up this National Security Service, which among other things is going to seize property of those only suspected, not even convicted of spreading WMDs and so on.
Just like all the suspected, unconvicted, non-tried people in Guantanamo Bay and in the secret prisons all around Eastern Europe, where we'll end up actually after doing this show.
George Bush, if you're watching, remember this face.
So, probably the scariest part is the fact that John Negroponte is going to be the head of this, new agency.
You mean Negroponte, who's setting up the $100 laptop?
No, that's Nicholas Negroponte, okay. His good brother. It's like the evil twin.
They're brothers?
No.
Okay.
They could be brothers, I don't know.
I don't think
some might remember Negroponte from Honduras and the Death Squads and the Nicaraguan guerrilla forces that overthrew Honduras.
Yeah, and all the other stuff that
it worked out so well. You should have been there. It was peachy, Velvet Revolution. But no, he funded the Contras. This was the United States had to go to the International Court of Justice for involving themselves in these death squads, training assassins on people to blow each other up.
And he faked, Negroponte's famous for when he was ambassador of the United States in Honduras. Not only did he fund Nicaraguan Contras who then went on to torture and kill people in their own country and do the same thing in Honduras with Honduran guerrillas, he also set up, or at least allegedly set up, and covered the existence of torture camps and torture facilities on American bases in Honduras.
So he's a generally all-around bad guy.
And he's going to be looking after your national security.
And he'll have the right to look into the homes of basic average Joe Americans.
So if you're scared of the NSA or the Homeland Security Service, these guys are going to be
triple dose of paranoia.
Yeah, a whole new level of terror, really. And the scary thing is, in the States, they're just activist groups and left-wingers and people who in former times would have been observed by the FBI in the 1960s all over again are getting observed and getting followed and having their bank accounts kind of seized and all these really strange things for environmental activism, like really kind of innocuous activities that have nothing to do with politics even.
That's right. It's basically turning the attention and the funding that was originally implied for looking after criminals on its own people, and I mean that's kind of a dangerous concept in itself.
Well, there's talk, if you haven't voted for George Bush, you are a criminal.
That's right.
So right there, you've broken the golden rule.
Well, and I did.
This is kind of deliciously ironic, is about the reason that it was set up as a reaction to this commission report about the intelligence failures in Iraq, which led to the mistakes on where the WMDs were, which are, oh no, there weren't any, we didn't find any, they said there were, but there weren't any. So let's set up this entire commission based on this entire war on terror which sprang out of this. It's like evil perpetuating itself all over again. Oh, I called someone evil, whoops. Can George Bush get us reliable?
He can, but that'd be a hell of a case. I want to see that case get to court.
George Bush versus Technolotics.
George on the bench. I can't remember why I'm here.
So guys, let's make sure this happens. Fuck you, George Bush, you're wanking.
You drink Satan's cock on a daily basis.
A daily basis.
From a giant club. Okay, well, moving on from that yes. Very serious story.
Scientists unite to attack creationism. So all the scientists are bandying up and getting on their labware and stuff and going to prove creationism wrong once and for all. Well, not really. There's been the International Council for Science, who are pretty much, as they sound, the International Council for Science, they're the big guys, have set up a committee called the Inter-Academy Panel on International Issues, and they released a really strong condemnation of anti-scientific and anti-evolutionary education. So even though there's people in intelligent design and other kind of euphemisms for creationism saying, look, creationism has some scientific basis, evolution does not. Evolution is just a theory, it's unfounded, which is ridiculous to the scientists. The scientists have actually come out of the closet and said, there's no bones about this, scientists believe this. Creationism is wrong, evolution is right, full stop. You shouldn't be teaching people these things. It attacks evolution denial, it attacks the confusion of untestable beliefs with scientific hypotheses, which is, the idea that you were saying how creationism and intelligent design can't be stated as a theory in the true definition of the word. I don't exactly know how that works, so do you want to fill me in?
Yeah, it's the basis of most sciences today is Popperian falsification. It's the idea that you can't make sure something is true, you can't prove something to be true. So what you can do is prove that the opposite is false, or rather that the opposite is not true. And in doing that,
you do it by opposition of the theory.
Yeah.
Okay.
This kind of worries me personally. I would see this inter-academy panel as maybe being a sort of scientist way of taking over the world, really. I mean, okay, they can basically falsify anybody else's theories.
How do you know about the secret mission of the panel?
Knows too much.
I think the creationists are getting a bad rap, really. I mean, they've only been around for, 8,000 years.
They haven't evolved enough to be any better.
That's right.
You ever notice how creationists look so unevolved?
Oh, that's copyrighted. You can't say that.
But there goes my job. But you were saying how in Texas even they had these little yellow stickers on the books, warning stickers saying, warning, this book contains evolutionary theory and may be damaging to your children or something like that.
This is the funny thing, that I think the stickers, I'm paraphrasing, but I think essentially they said something like, these theories are still contentious and have not been proven, but no theory has been proven. That's the whole point of it being a scientific theory.
Is that it's testable, and if it's proven, it's not testable.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, you can only evidence a hypothesis, you can never prove
but
it.
They use that same angle to attack evolutionary theory by saying that evolution, because it's unproven, you say it yourself, it's only a theory, so therefore why isn't creationism just as valid? And there's plenty of reasons, because it doesn't have any evidence to support it, and it's not testable, so it can't be.
But there's evidence for dinosaurs, and they're blatantly just put there because God wanted to test us.
I think that's also copyrighted. Bill Hicks is going to come out of his grave and grab us by the balls.
If he does, he was wrong, so he won't. Isn't that interesting? He's
cosmic, man.
Yeah. How deep.
Okay, so
it's a paradox right there. Bill Hicks will never kick your ass in the afterlife.
Jesus.
I think Jesus was Bill Hicks. I think it was the third coming or the second coming, depending on your perspective.
How did he die, Bill Hicks?
He was crucified. That's where I got the idea. Crucified by the pain of agonizing cancer.
For all those of you watching at home with cancer or with relatives with cancer, we're truly sorry.
Oh,
have a pleasant death.
But listen, if they're comedians, that's great.
Yeah, that's great.
It doesn't mean if you got cancer, you're a comedian. No, hang on. That's the same kind of science they're working on with this creationism stuff.
Well, good for them. Even if they do have cancer, good for them. Which leads us on to our next story.
Cancer? Which is about good for them.
Which is about good for them.
And this is about the ACLU suing the National Security Agency in the United States, the dreaded NSA, the most terrifying and secretive of all secret, terrifying organizations, for their alleged use of fMRI and MRI, functional magnetic resonance imaging, and magnetic resonance imaging technologies developed to scan the brain and gather more information about conscious processes and how the brain functions in thought for lie detecting. So supposedly the NSA have decided that these very new technologies, which are really ill suited to this kind of application, are going to be used to detect lies. Now, there are a couple of applications that they could possibly use these things for, but there's so many civil liberties implications and so many dodgy... If they're trying to detect the lie center in the brain, you're not going to find it. because there's no truth center.
No.
Yeah,
But
so I
also,
can tell you that
if,
right now.
if they're doing fMRI on people with no medical basis, then that's pretty unethical to begin with.
Absolutely, it's forcing someone to undergo a surgical procedure.
And I mean, fMRI hasn't been around that long, so as to how safe it is to repeatedly do this to someone, especially when they're in and out of torture camps and whatever else, and people pointing at them naked with hoods over their heads. fMRI is basically just a very complicated way of taking a picture of someone's brain, but it also shows the activity rather than just showing the brain itself. It shows where the activity is happening. So, what Gareth was hypothesizing was that instead of finding a lie area of the brain, they'd stimulate them in some way.
Well, my idea is that it's pretty much impossible to prove that someone is lying, because if they believe a lie, the brain's going to work in the same way as if that was true, even if it was possible to detect a lie in the first place. But what you could do is, if you suspect that Muhammad, actually I met a really nice guy called Muhammad there the other day, so fajita
That's the second reason to sue us. Third reason, fajita.
Yes, so anyway, so this idea was that essentially, instead of trying to detect a lie, what you do is present a stimulus of a suspect's face. And if you've got a known terrorist and you're trying to find which terrorists know him, or who's the terrorist, present him pictures of lots of people, and the one he recognises, well, it's someone he knows. And anyone he knows, that should be a terrorist. His local greengrocer.
Well, you can detect recognition. You should be able to detect.
Not only a terrorist, but probably his leader as well.
Absolutely. And if they've got a beard, that's proof
That's
positive.
right.
You've got a beard, I notice.
Well, I am connected to the IRA.
Oh, really?
Really?
Provisionally, you're definitely.
Provisionally for the time being. I'm moving up the ranks soon.
Excellent. Well, fantastic. Can you warn me about any bombs and stuff if I'm in any kind of areas that are going to be affected?
I
No,
thought they
because you're a
moved out of
prod.
bombs. They're into
That's
cyber terrorism at this stage, the IRA.
Really? Does that mean they're going to use giant mechs?
Tony Blair, your time has gone.
The laser eyes. Oh no! Blair's finding
Green
men's
fucking
match.
lasers, proper argon lasers coming out of their heads.
I think they're
lasers!
intelligent, because they've always been after the Queen, and she is a robot.
It's controversial.
Whether
When
the
did you
Queen
first suspect?
is the Queen.
Well, a lot
robot.
of scientific research has been done, and it seems that she's not only a robot, but a robotic lizard from outer space.
The Dutch Queen, a book was recently released that shows that she's apparently an alcoholic and sits around the house all day with a spilled glass of Burgundy that gets topped up kind of by the serving staff kind of go, "You sure you want another one there, Queenie?"
They're on very close terms with her. You're sure she's not transsexual? Queenie's a very unusual name for a queen.
No, she's not Freddie Mercury. or
Queenie
anything
the
like
Queen.
that.
But I mean, what else does she do? I'd get picked up if I was a queen.
Well, her son's after her.
Before or after you're dead, and would you get Damien Hirst to do it? No question.
I will be immortalised in a Sashi warehouse.
Queenie. You heard it here first.
On to short stories then, maybe.
Are we? Oh, no, we've got a hole. Oh no, we don't.
No, we don't.
We've got no hole. I've got no hole. I poo through now.
Weren't we talking about creating? No, we were talking about the other one, brain science. But the thing about
You've got
this,
some sheets of your own right there. Some cheating.
the thing about these scam things, right, is that like, what kind of implications does that have for the government? You know, in
Very
terms of,
broad question. What do you mean?
What implications does it have for the government?
I mean, are we seeing the evolution of the kind of major state control in that the minds of criminals will be infiltrated?
You don't even have the
absolutely
opportunity to
interesting.
lie anymore. You don't even have the opportunity to like, not even lie, just be purely duplicitous.
Absolutely. This is why I wrote Philip K. Dick at the top of that story. Because Philip K. Dick wrote all these stories where, the mind is interfered with or spied upon directly. And, the possibilities are really terrifying. Sure, you have to climb inside a giant MRI machine right now. 5-10 years from now, they'll have
Be a little more than 5-10 years from now.
No, dude, accelerating change. Something we've discussed many times in this podcast if you're a regular
That's
viewer.
right. If I thought you heard it here
Most
first.
of our viewers are not the regular kind of person, though.
No, they
They're irregular viewers.
Some heads filled with meth, mine's filled with mad visions.
Dude!
God, if
That was
I was
my
regular, I still wouldn't be here.
Absolutely right, though.
Anyway,
So, Warner is selling its movies via Gooba.com. That's cam.
Who cares about that, really, guys? Who cares about that?
What is Gooba.com?
It's a website.
I haven't seen.
I haven't seen it either, but
Okay,
it must be good because they've got Warner Video, and as we all know, Warner are a highly respected corporation that only produces small amounts of child porn.
And apparently they've already signed
Have
a
you seen
deal with
Lolita?
BitTorrent
that
That was
creator
Warner Brothers. I think.
Bram Cohen.
Was.
Sorry.
Bram Cohen, that's true.
Yeah, Bram Cohen's on board. He did BitTorrent.
BitTorrent, yeah.
That's right.
That's
so
true.
it seems like they'll be using that to download the views. So they're actually going to release films over the internet
Same
instead
day
of
as DVD.
Same day as DVD, or
Not
as
same day
opposed
as
to
cinema.
cinema?
No. Google has launched a rival to PayPal, which may
It'll
possibly...
never work.
It will never work. That's enough said.
Well, I don't know, because we saw Gmail overtaking Yahoo.
We did. But this has got such potential, because, you know, if you take a scrape off every online purchase and you make it really easy to make, you can make, that's just a license to print money.
Mhm.
As everything shifts to the internet, you can potentially take over every market.
Oh, and internet users love Google, so they've got the brand name recognition and stuff. And PayPal has other rivals, but they haven't hit the mark because PayPal was the first to do what it did, which was security, which is it took care of you basically. You got fucked. It didn't let you get fucked. In fact, I tried to buy an MP3 player at one stage from eBay, and I got fucked royally. And PayPal took good care of me. They did. So I'm boosting. Thumbs up for PayPal.
So what you're saying is you're fucked with an MP3 player and then they took care of you.
Yeah, in the mafia sense.
This involves salve being applied to various central organs.
No. What I mean is, I bought the MP3 player and it didn't arrive, and then I sent them an email saying, you bums, and then PayPal went, yeah, this guy's a fraudster. We're going to give you your money back, despite the fact that this guy is actually taking the money at this stage from us.
Cool.
So they did it at cost to themselves to keep myself as a customer.
But
So
the
it
market
makes you
generally prefers Google because it's text-based aesthetic, and most of the people on the internet don't actually read.
They don't?
Didn't you just contradict yourself right there?
Yes.
More rational arguments after the break. Okay, so I think this is going to actually completely quash PayPal, assuming they're smart enough to do.
They're gonna quash them.
I think competition would be a really good thing in this,
Yeah.
because it is a monopoly.
But the reason I say that is because I went onto this site today and it's so easy to use, it's crazy. It's like if you want to buy something, you literally just put in your name, credit card details, one page, click save, and you've got it saved forever. You can just buy wherever
And
you want.
that bloody PayPal thing of having to have the confirmation code off your statement, that's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. PayPal it's not simple. The website's it's not user friendly. It's like eBay. It works because it was the first.
But it will become simpler as in competition.
Guarantee you 6 months it'll look exactly like the Google one.
And hopefully they'll both get better as time goes on, because they'll be in competition with each other.
Competition.
And so
can be
we'll
good.
benefit and they'll all be fucked.
We the user will benefit, as always.
I'll drink to that.
He'll drink to that.
Okay.
Moving on.
Canadian scientists regrow teeth and bones, eh? So, God knows how they're doing this, because it makes no sense to me. And I know about these things usually, pretty much. But they're using ultrasound, little waves of ultrasound, to fix fractured and diseased teeth. Somehow it stimulates the nerve tissue or something to regrow. Usually nerves in your teeth are pretty much cut off by the blood supply or something like that. That's what my dentist told me when he was explaining why he needed to remove my tooth. He was saying, your nerve is pretty much dead anyway. When you're born, as soon as your teeth come out, your nerve it doesn't get stimulation from the nervous system, so somehow the ultrasound must affect it or something. That's my theory. You look it up and you find out for yourself, because I could be talking out of the back of my ass.
I can see two big problems with this straight away, right? Number one is if they're stimulating the nerves in your teeth, any kind of viral stuff that you have going on in your spinal fluid is going to resurface. So if you got like herpes simplex, something like that, you're going to get a huge face full of sores.
That's not going to happen.
Because you're stimulating any kind of stimulation of nerves that had kind of strong stimulation, constant stimulation of head nerves, for want of a more
But
scientific
they're
term.
pretty much cut off from the rest of the nervous system.
Really?
That's how I got herpes. Through stimulation of my head nerves.
I got it through sleeping with a Dutch whore, but that's okay. My second thing is, what if they're actually secretly putting in a mind control tooth chip, and you think you're getting this magic tooth working that couldn't possibly work because it's ridiculous? Check it
No,
out.
I'm way ahead. I replaced all my teeth with Fimo.
You know what? They used to. I used to in the kitchen I used to work in, they had an ultrasound device to keep away rats and things like, and you'd hear it going off and it going, and this horrible high pitched squeak,
Yeah,
which
that's
would
right.
kind of fade off into the ultrasound region. Can you imagine that ultrasound within your head every 5 minutes? Just
Well, to be honest, I've got a hypothesis about how this may work, right? Ghosts, right? Okay. The notion of ghosts was disproved by some scientist who thought he knew more than he did, right? And he claimed that ghosts were created by machinery cooling down, emitting a sound that fucked with your brain and made all these shapes come up on your vision. Right. So if we assume that ultrasound affects your vision, then it would be possible to, using sound, construct the illusion of images on your vision. Therefore, if you could have the right sound being emitted in your mouth, you could create the illusion of teeth where there are none.
Wow! That is the most amazingly ridiculous theory I've ever heard. Just might be true.
Yeah, I think so.
Just might not be true.
Would you
Also,
have the illusion of chewing your food as well? Or would you just have the illusion of not being able to eat?
Well, you'd have to have a different sound that breaks down the food.
Mm.
Because you can do that with sound like sub-bass.
But
No,
then,
you could,
but
yeah.
then if you were
but
just
then you'd also break all your teeth with the sub bass.
It wouldn't matter because you've got the illusion of teeth.
And you could just keep using sub bass. Who needs teeth when you have sub bass in your mouth? You can just walk down the road. Boom, boom, boom. What's that on my teeth?
surely as you passed food into your mouth it would just degrade. So you wouldn't even get a chance to like...
Perfect. Perfect. It's like having an electric sharpener in your mouth.
Man, you would give the worst hummers.
Forget oral sex, it's just going to be a mincing opportunity.
We're talking about ultrasound here. Of course, we all know that infrasound is the base for each. Anyway, the technology may also be used to allow bone growth, to increase height for people who are a bit short. So,
By presumably ultrasounding their legs and arms.
oh yeah, so like midgets and stuff.
You could give them fantastic... We were talking about spider bodies in the last episode, but you could give fantastic spider arms and legs, but keep the midriff normal size and have these gigantic spidery people. That's worth doing just for the fun.
Well, that could be a new area of sculpture, really.
Oh my god.
You could grow kind of bone mutations in the shapes
Whoa.
of famous celebrities coming out of people's chests. Why the fuck not?
I'm getting Jack Nicholson on my forehead.
Yeah, right. Actually, you could reconstruct the bones of someone's face by ultrasound.
You know,
To look like
that's
that.
a really good point.
And you could probably do it really quick as well. So, like, you could have the guy that's like in Mission Impossible but isn't, right, in real life. Imagine Mission Impossible in real life, right? He runs into the room trying to escape the police and he puts on a thing. All of a sudden, he looks like Jack Nicholson. And they go, "Oh, hey, Jack Nicholson, did you see the robber?" And he's like, "No."
Why would I? I'm Jack Nicholson.
See? We're on to something here, guys.
We definitely are.
If they haven't thought of it, we should suggest it to them. But patent it first, so when they do it, we can sue them and fuck them up again.
That's how I make all my money, actually.
Is it? Yeah?
Patent switch and bait or bait and
Well,
switch.
you certainly don't get paid for this, shitey.
I do, but only when I do it naked.
Okay.
But that's next week's show.
Next
Well,
week's show, guys.
I'm ready to de-kit, actually.
Go for it. Jonah will get naked.
At the end of the
And
show.
At the end of the show, we guarantee it.
We
Or
guarantee.
your money back. Okay, well, our last story is really not as exciting for you guys, because you know. What could be more exciting than that?
Well, a lot of things, really.
So this is about Java may well go open source. In fact, it definitely will go open source. Some have announced. So
No, it could be vaporware. Come on, I mean, I know there's sun and everything,
it
but
already exists.
I know it already
Vaporware.
exists, but vaporware in terms of becoming open source.
Well, this is
Because there's all kinds of legalities and things involved
This
when you're
is-
dealing with
yeah.
something like Java, which is installed on nearly every computer.
that's not the legal problem. The legal problem is that, of course, Java libraries have been written by lots of people and lots of organizations. So really making a proper kind of open source Java backend may actually require writing loads of additional code. But it should become open source, hopefully, in the next few months. Or sooner.
Or it may not.
Or it may not.
It may. It was proposed 2 years ago, I believe.
It was, but it
And
takes
so
time.
it's only starting to. Yeah, we intend to do it now. We suggested 2 years ago, and then we intend to do it today. So obviously it'll be out in a few months.
Right.
Okay, so that's pretty much the show. Just our media pimps left.
Excellent.
My first media pimp is an interesting article about artificial general intelligence and its potential role in the singularity.
I didn't know you were into transhumanism.
Our production staff are laughing. I'm not actually, which is why I disagree with the article, but
Oh,
it's still
okay.
very interesting. I do believe in the singularity though, but
Okay.
not necessarily in a transhumanistic sense.
Okay.
More on that in a future show.
How
But
far in the future?
not too far, according to Jonah. But we'll more on that later. But this is an interesting article. So it essentially argues that artificial general intelligence will be developed pretty soon, and it has.
And what's the difference between artificial general intelligence and other forms of AI? Exactly.
Well, that's a very good question. Most AI at the moment solves a particular problem. So, say it answers you when you phone up a company, and it says, "Did you say yes or no? Please repeat it." Yes. Sorry. Did you say yes or no? And so that's a basic specialist system.
That's
right
artificial stupidity right there, which isn't there for solving problems; it's there for causing problems. So that's general artificial intelligence. No, artificial general
What a
intelligence.
shadow of the problems that will be created when we have artificial general intelligence. But it's just a more general form. It's something that can solve problems. So a lot of people.
So it can be applied to a different range of problems. The same intelligence.
It's more than that. If you have a truly general intelligence, it can apply itself to a range of problems.
Okay.
And develop itself, as much as we do, arguably. But a lot of cognitive scientists believe such a development is fundamentally impossible.
Are there any examples of artificial general intelligence outside of sentient beings? Like, has anyone programmed this?
No, of course not.
Anything even resembling this?
Well, this is what the article is about. The story is about someone who's developing a system to evolve an artificial intelligence. And what he's done is he created a little avatar. So their method is, they've got a variety of cognitive systems on the back end which interact for different kinds of learning. And then their system is designed to essentially experience a virtual world. They're a really kind of simple method, but I think it will completely fail. But you should read the article anyway.
It's interesting. I had a conversation with this avatar thing on MSN. And
one of those chatbots.
Yeah.
Did it ask you to come join her?
No, and they wouldn't respond when I asked it to do the same to me. But basically this thing went around in circles and talked a lot of shit.
Yeah, it asks you what's your name and then it goes, I'm very interested in Jonah.
And it was interesting, but when you said things like, I want to kill myself, what are you going to do about it? It just stopped responding.
Yeah.
But people will do that too, though. That's the difficulty.
The thing is, okay, if you're creating a sort of...
It must have been very intelligent.
If you're creating a kind of artificial intelligence here, you're creating it on a computer and it has no sense of mortality. Therefore,
it's
to
true,
address
though,
any
like,
question
senses of
based
empathy
around
come
your
from
own
feeling
mortality I've forgotten what I'm saying, but yes.
That is a point, but that is not why it didn't have anything to say about your impending death. It was more to do with the fact that it hadn't been programmed with a response. Which is, it's a major problem.
They've actually programmed, say, you're talking about the speech ones, the one to win the Turing Prize and things. You know the Turing Prize? Yeah. The programs used for the Turing Prize are programmed now to evolve their own language. They use evolutionary algorithms and they come up with their own responses as time goes by.
They do and they don't. Yeah, they do, but there is no kind of general processing going on. It's a very specific kind of computational evolution. But this project is much more generalistic. They actually hope to evolve something that will be intelligent in a truly sentient kind of way. Whether that's even possible.
But what do they propose for this to be possible? What do they propose to do to make this happen?
This is the funny thing about the article, because it goes into great detail about how the cognitive structures are set up and how they're training it. But then it's like, we've reached apparently the level of a 1-year-old. We soon hope to teach language and proper communication skills. From there we will go. Like,
how do you tell whether it's at the level of a 1-year-old or what? Because what does a 1-year-old do? Gurgles at you.
Well, this doesn't know where to piss yet.
I don't think it has genitals. That could be a problem later for it.
Yeah,
but they can always
am I a boy or a girl? Gender confused artificial intelligence.
Oh my god,
poor
yeah.
bastard.
Maybe that's what emos are.
Yeah, I think so.
No, that implies intelligence, you know.
This is true.
There we go. Well, the emos are
they certainly are artificial enough, though. But yeah, well, this is the problem. They've done all the easy stuff, and they're like, and then soon we'll do the hard stuff. No one's done the hard stuff yet, so this is why it could take 100 years.
But the evolutionary stuff is supposed to do the hard stuff. Hopefully, they'll be able to build an algorithm which will code itself in some way.
That I would agree with that, but the one problem I have with that is that at the end of what you come out with, at the end of that, your output is an intelligence, but it's of a fundamentally different kind. It mightn't even be something that we recognise as intelligence.
Yeah. It'll be as alien to us as, say, alien life.
Or a tree.
Would be intelligent.
Or passage of time, or like blue. Or, just a fundamentally different concept.
Yeah.
So I think like the intelligence that you get that way through an actual evolutionary process, you're not going to be able to quanticize it.
Because you can't exactly replicate our own minds on a computer without using it as a form of communication. Like, you're basically just writing down your thoughts and your own processes if you try to create an artificial intelligence on that basis. What I'm worried about is the possibility that maybe this will evolve into some kind of
Something else that's going to try and
Wait,
take
another
over.
worry, Joey. What is this time?
What if they turn into big robots? And like
Just like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And they run for office.
No, much worse. They put us in little pods in order to create a massive battery pack, and then created a sort of internet system that we lived in.
We don't know who burnt the sky. No, we do know actually. It was us, isn't it? Sorry,
It would
I
be
got
just
mixed up
like
there.
that film.
Yeah, Barbie goes to Hollywood. Naked or whatever.
That was a great film.
That was a great film.
So, 2 more quick pimps before we get on to these guys' exciting pimps.
Mhm.
One is a Podcatcher Matrix application to allow you to, and for some reason our camera woman is pointing the camera at the ceiling. So I'll look over at this camera. It's a Podcatcher application to allow you to compare lots of different podcatchers. Simple thing. And the final
What's a
thing.
podcatcher? I'm sorry, I've got no iPod.
I've been
Oh
using
my god,
iTunes.
you don't have an iPod?
No,
What are
I
you
don't
doing?
have an iPod. I'm terrible.
iTunes is okay, but you know iTunes has to be, you have to apply for it, you have to have a credit card, you have to have an account on the iTunes. It's actually quite hard for people to put their podcasts onto iTunes. So for that reason it's evil. Finally, the Scientology orientation video is available to watch.
I have seen
on
this.
Regrow
I
video.
saw it in one of their little temples at some stage.
Did
They had
you?
it on the
That's
laser
brilliant.
disc. It was incredible. I'd never seen a laser disc before, and then somewhere in the year 2004, I go into the Scientologist office, and they're the one place in town. It's just like a CD, only obese. And it was covered in scratches and smelly stuff. And is it the same one they used with like really poor computer graphics of meteors flying by at the beginning?
Yes.
Yes.
But you know, that's really interesting because the bit at there's a piece at the start with the vastness of space and some meteorites, but it's a hint at what Scientologists truly believe.
Mhm. Which is the Xenu theory and
The
everything.
Xenu
like that.
theory, which
Yeah.
you can check out if you watch South Park. They fully outline it quite accurately.
They don't tell Scientologists about all this alien stuff until way up the levels, after you've paid about $1,000 or so. Half a grand.
Half a gram.
Half a gram. No, half a million. How much does it cost to get to the top of this bridge to total freedom?
Quite a bit. I have no idea
Yeah.
the precise
I think
financial amount.
If you think about all these new age philosophies having been born around the time of the acid revolution, right? I presume that Scientology is in fact just a bad trip.
I didn't realise it was an actual revolution. Did it overthrow anything, or was it?
Yes.
yes, they were trying to overthrow psychiatry, which is pretty much close to your trade.
It kind of failed, though, didn't it?
No, it didn't.
No, within Scientology, they don't allow people to see psychiatrists.
Oh, you mean Scientology was trying to overthrow?
Yeah,
something?
the
I
first.
think that acid was trying to overthrow.
No, they're trying to get the acid revolution.
No.
Well, if you look at the work of like the early work of Timothy Leary and that kind of thing, it's pretty revolutionary. He was the first psychologist to hug his clients and to form some kind of like horizontal bond between patient and.
I think you'll find
Horizontal bond. Is that what
Freud
they're calling
formed
it?
some horizontal bonds with his clients. He was very effective in his own therapy and growth as a person.
He gave them sexual healing. Sorry, that was terrible. You gotta cut that one out.
And then they made a joke. Okay, so you guys, what are you going to pimp?
Alright.
Director, they're a band, they're Irish, so we should pimp them because they're from Ireland, and they're a band.
They're
And
also
they-
your
they-
sister's boyfriends.
Yeah, my sister's boyfriend's band.
Pinky Love Triangle.
No, she's my sister, man, but yeah, and it's some sweet ass. But they have a website, directormusic.com, no hyphen, just one word, and their second single is out. Their first single actually made it to number 4. They have 4 or 14 in the Irish charts, which is pretty good.
I think it was 6.5 actually.
6.5. Number 6.5. You're actually tying with this piece of shite. Does anyone even know what the charts are anymore? Are there charts anymore?
No clue.
No
Who
clue.
cares what's in the
Well,
chart?
there's been a recent decentralisation of the musical genre in that
The musical genre?
musical
Which
genre.
musical genre?
Yeah, which one?
No, I was just trying to sound.
But yeah, they have their second single coming out, which is great. On the B-side, Big Cities is the only one I've heard. It might be She's Saying Things or something. They're also playing Oxygen. They had the opportunity to play the Electric Picnic with the AAS and possibly end up supporting them in all kinds of lovely tours and stuff like that, but they chose to play Oxygen, which was stupid of them.
Maybe they just don't want to be affiliated with a big field full of yuppies.
But isn't that oxygen?
Yuppies?
No, why they refused the electric picnic.
Oh yeah.
So why is the Electric Picnic more yuppie than oxygen?
Oxygen has scobes and shit and piss everywhere. It's not a pleasant experience.
Oh my god.
We're not talking about the festival.
Oh, dear
We're talking
God.
about a mate of ours, Oxygen.
No, with the actual element.
Yes. Yeah, I'm
Basically,
making it.
anybody that goes to auction is a wanker. Anybody that goes to electric picnic is a toff.
Opinion.
What's a toff exactly?
It's a British upper class person.
Oh, okay.
And that's why they're all prods.
Oh, are you finally going to get naked for us, by the way?
Nudity
Yeah,
wins,
yeah.
Steve.
2012!
I'm too sweaty. It's very hot in here. Very hot in here.
It's getting hot in here.
Okay, 2012. Where do I begin?
He's going to take us close.
There's nothing written about it on this because there's a lot of things. There's a lot of theories going around about what's going to happen in the year 2012.
Most of them are wrong, though.
Well, we won't know for another 6 years, really. Well, basically my theory is that there's going to be a shift in consciousness. What exactly this means is debatable. And this is a
vague.
This is a theory that's been put forward by a lot of pseudoscientists for the last 20 years. Basically, on the 21st of December, first of all, on the 21st of December 2012, the Mayan calendar ends. What this means is basically the Mayan calendar is a very old calendar from the Mayans back in South America when they lived. And, and basically they constructed a calendar based around
the motions of the planets.
The motion of the planets, the moon, everything.
And their knowledge of astronomy was far more...
was incredible,
yeah.
Considering their date. And they're the most kind of precise Earth-based calendar that we have on Earth.
As opposed to the moon-based calendar.
Those are very precise calendars.
So basically the Mayan calendar, developed by the Mayans, based on the motions of the planet, ends in the year 2012. So there's all kinds of theories
And
about
it's
the world
important to
blowing
realise
up,
that
Jonah getting naked.
the Mayan calendar has predicted major events such as
Tuesdays,
the
Wednesdays,
tsunami disaster
some
most
Fridays.
recently. Yeah.
Jonah's birthday.
My birthday.
God.
Yeah, my birthday. It said it was going to happen, and it did. And Terence McKenna was a leading sort of philosopher about this, and he had all sorts of theories that he came up with while tripping on mushrooms. Some of which involved beings from other planets shaped as mushrooms coming down to tell us what to do next. The Raelians, another international, one of the largest cults actually on the planet at the moment.
Alternative
One of the
religions,
largest
you mean?
cults on the planet. Mr. Rail, we're not talking about you.
This show will just be one big beep. Beep for 30 minutes and then that's
We
it.
can just beep the or and then say aliens. The aliens.
The aliens, yeah.
aliens.
Well, okay, the aliens are building these big intergalactic space embassies.
Yes.
And they're building one on every continent. They're trying to raise the funds. And what they're doing to raise the funds is they're holding these massive festivals once a year where they all just have a big orgy on the site.
They give each other armbands
Yeah.
to show what your sexual preference is, and
That's
then you
right.
just jump on in there.
That's right. It's great.
Have you been to one of these?
I've not
versions?
been, but I've fantasized a hell of a lot about going. A hell of a lot.
So is it open to anyone?
Well, it's open to anyone if you've
I've
got
heard
a
their
copy of the
organisation
rating.
is kind of full of herpes and STDs and
Well,
stuff.
no, because they're like, as opposed to a lot of the kind of earthbound new religions, they're very much science based. They believe that we must learn to clone ourselves in order to evolve ourselves, and they have this corporation, Clonate. That's right, who claim to have already cloned the first human child.
Unverifiably and secretly, of course.
That's right, yeah, because you wouldn't want people to know who the lesbian parents were.
And also
Mainly because
he
they're lesbians and
exists.
they just got beat.
Oh, I want to Pimp the L Word. I love that show.
Losers.
Sorry, it's just a great show. I don't know why I did that losers thing. Made me a loser. Like anyone who says, what's that?
Well, anyway, they seem to believe that in 2012 this kind of spaceship's going to come and chat to them on the embassy. So they're having the embassy built for 2012. That's the Raelians theory. What else is happening on 2012? The consensus
Wanna
new
go grab a
age.
beer?
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's
cool.
go.
You okay, man?
Okay, well.
The consensus new age philosophy is that there'll be a shift in consciousness paradigm from the movement from the age of Aquarius into the age of whatever comes next, which I think is Capricorn or something like that.
No.
I don't know what comes next. Anyway, the one after Aquarius. Aquarius is an age
Delicious.
of
The age of
imperialism.
The age of
The age
delicious.
of delicious.
What does this have to do with
Don't take the
2012
piss,
and the
this is
Mayan
really
calendar,
serious.
man?
But hang on, didn't the age of Aquarius change in the year 2000?
No.
Ah, you did. I do think we're not in the
Look
age
at
of
that song.
Aquarius yet.
This is the dawning.
Of
That was
the
from like
age
1977,
of
wasn't it? It can't have been 2012.
How long does the zodiac year last?
10 Nooney Qs. No, I don't follow astrology.
Let's ask our local astrologer, Jonah King.
Long time.
Long.
But there is no time, because that's just a human construct.
Time is a human construct.
Therefore, measuring zodiac year is impossible.
So this could go on literally all night, but maybe we should leave you. Before we leave, we should get you naked.
Yeah, Jonah, come on. Naked. Actually, did we have someone who wanted to media pimp? Did we have a guest media pimp?
Oh, we did!
Fiona Doyle,
Let's
come on.
call our guest media pimp onto the screen. Summon.
She's also a wonderful cook, I'll have you know. So
She's
I'll
a
pimp her
delicious
cooking.
cook.
I use the cookbook.
Sit yourself down in front of the cameras of Technolotics.
Come in.
Come and join us.
So what was it you would like to have pimped?
This page was last modified.
No, you had Fred Perry International or something. Fred Perry.
I see how communications impact on you that you remember the name so well.
It was FUBU jackets, wasn't it?
Yes,
FUBU jackets.
I want to FUBU. Keep it real. No, actually, I wanted to promote the Perry Bible Fellowship,
Perry Bible Fellowship.
which, unlike the aliens, aliens, is not a cult. Wait, does that make sense grammatically? I don't know. It's not a cult. It's a really good thing on the internet where you can find all these little 3-4 part comic strips, and they're really dark. And I showed them to a good few people in work, and no one gets them.
Oh.
There's not that much to get.
I think I've seen
They're
these.
just, you did. I showed you.
We will link them from Technolotics.
We will link them. Perry Bible Fellowship has my 2 thumbs. Oh, one of my thumbs is broken. See, it doesn't bend anymore.
And on that juicy note, let us call an end to this meeting of the Technolotics Society. Vista power!
To Technolotics and beyond!